and this is quite a common question I get. How do you play Battlefield if you're blind? Well, blind is a kind of technical term. It doesn't mean you can't see. So, years ago I was called what is known as registered blind. Now it's called severely visually impaired, and they just change it around quite a bit. But severely visually impaired man isn't quite such a good gamer tag, so I have Blindman. Now, one of the things you can't tell from this clip, because I've had to turn the sound down to talk over it, is the amount of times the Q button is being spammed. So when I'm looking around, I'm spamming the Q button like mad. Unfortunately, it seems like the railings are stopping me spotting things down there. Now I know there's a guy there. I shoot at him, I get hit marker, but he effectively just vanishes for me. And I can't see anything down there at all. Then I see the gun flash, and it's not until he pops out that I can nail him. So what I can see is things that are moving, gun flashes, that kind of thing. If somebody's standing still, I haven't got hope of spotting them. I'm one of the people that camo actually works against. So, the big choice in the game is sights. And guns start off with a sight like this. You've got a 1x red dot scope. And then later you get the option of doing a 2x. But the big problem with these is I can't see the orange thing in the middle. So little reticles, if they're orange and the background's bright, I can't see it. So some of my choices of scope are a little unusual. And I'll have to remove that before I can put the scope I actually use on. So what I actually use is a 3.4x scope all the time, because that's a mixture of black and orange. So against the bright background I have the black as contrast, and against the dark background I've got the orange. And that works a lot better, but it does mean that close quarters is a bit tricky, but it does mean also that I can actually shoot people at mid-range, because with the 3.4x magnification I've got a chance of spotting them. Now the engineer choice is also a bit tricky. Again, I've got a hollow on this, and I can just about see the ring at times, but most of the time I can't see it, and I'm kind of using the scope as a big ghost ring, judging where the middle of it is. So sights, unlocking them, no, that makes no sense, bit of a odd way of saying it. So unlocking sights is a big thing for me, and it's why I tend to pick a fairly early stage gun and stick with it, because the basic red dot scopes just don't work for me. So this one is actually better than the hollow because it is a ring, and although the dot in the middle is smaller and even harder to see, the actual ring around the outside is smaller as well, so it works better as a ghost ring. But surprisingly, until I get something with magnification on it, my choice for this is the iron sights, because it's a very contrasting ring with a big black pointer, which works far better for me than a red dot. So I've not tried the carbine with a 3.4 scope because I've not unlocked it yet, but I'm assuming that's going to be a bit too high magnification, because it's not like this gun's got great range. But at the moment the iron sights are working for me on this one, and this is the one I've picked to use, at least for now, until I get to a decent level and maybe unlock something. So the M249, that's a good spray and pray gun, and the 3.4 unlocks pretty early on it, so I have been using this quite a lot. Yeah, it's pretty accurate at range. Okay, it's got the lower damage model, but it's quite stable. And because it was unlocked through the single player, it was easy to get. And it's got a big magazine size, so I can spray around with it. But this is kind of the highlighting the problems I have leveling up guns. So the gun that I have just unlocked is the PKP, and most people would just go straight to using the PKP to see what it's like. The problem I have is the iron sights are awful. You know, they are dreadful, and so I just can't use it. You know, I could probably run around in lockers. Is it lockers? Lockup? I could run around in the prison shooting people at close range and not really having to use the sights that much, but on most maps the iron sights on that I just can't use, so I'm sticking with a 249. So for somebody with my eyesight, sniping seems like the logical choice. You know, you've got a lot of magnification, don't have to do much running around, and you can pick people off, even though I am quite a bad sniper. I'm just missing a stationary target. And yeah, I enjoy playing sniper. Not bad once I've got into position. Problem I have is getting into position. If the targets are at long range, I'm fine. If they're close up, I'm fine, I can do it with a pistol. But the scope's so high magnification, got such a small field of view, that anything in the mid-range, if they're standing still and I've got to spot them without the scope, there's not a lot I can do other than spam Q as I'm running along trying to see them. So sniping's fun, but I can only do it on the massive wide open maps. You know, I couldn't be doing it on anything that's got a lot of medium range stuff, because I'll just get killed by assault rifles. So I thought DMRs were going to be my saviour for this. They all come with an ACOG unlocked, or all the ones I've tried so far do. And yeah, they're quite easy to use, semi-automatic, better for medium range. Okay, still going to get you killed in close range, but yeah, they're okay. But I just can't get on with them. I don't know if it's their damage model or what, but yeah, I think the starter one, maybe the bullet velocity isn't that great. So pistol wise, I've unlocked the ghost ring for this and been trying it out, and it's kind of awful. Can't get used to the ghost ring at all. I'd rather just have the plain iron sights on it. There is a hollow version for this which I haven't unlocked yet, which I might give a try. But to be fair, I think I'll be dropping the ghost ring and going back to the normal sights, because the ghost ring just confuses where the actual sight is for me. I keep aiming with the top of the ghost ring rather than the actual sight inside the ghost ring. So essentially what my eyes do is they don't focus. I have almost all peripheral style vision, which is why things that don't move are pretty hard to see. The Rex isn't bad. You know, the sights are pretty much, you know, unseeable for me, but I just stick it in the middle of the bar across the top. For me it looks pretty much like a straight bar all the way across the top of the gun, so I can just stick it in the middle of that. So this is me sniping, which you would have thought would be my logical choice with big zoom scopes. And I'm not a bad sniper really, get a few kills, take people out, which I guess is kind of supporting the team. But in this clip I'm sniping from almost our spawn, and you know, while I take people out, just how much am I helping the team? You know, long range kills are fine and it's fun, but in terms of the actual game, I'm never that sure what I'm actually achieving. You know, I'm not helping take that objective, I'm just picking people off from a long way away. Okay, it's helping the people that are there, but am I really playing the objective? Don't think so. And if I run in closer, I'm just going to get killed at mid-range. So yeah, I tend to avoid sniping. I'll just play it for a bit of variety now and again. So let's have a look at the guns that I'm using. One thing you'll notice is these are all early unlocks, or they're single player unlocks. I don't progress up levels with guns because I tend to need gear on them to be able to use them properly. So everything is running the 3.4 scope. I'm not yet sure if I like it on the engineer gun or whether I'm going to go back to the iron sights, because 3.4 was a bit of a hassle at short range and there's no real long range on the carbines. So it's the M416, the SG553 and the M249. You can ignore the L96A1 because I just don't use it. So it all depends on the map. If it's an infantry heavy map, then the M416, because it does just about everything. With a 3.4 scope on it, I can see mid-range things perfectly well. The occasional pot shot at long range. If it's a long range map, then I tend to go for the M249 because I find it more comfortable at long ranges, and the 3.4 scope lets me spray bullets around. And if it's a vehicle heavy map, then it's the SG553 and the SRAW, which I'm getting quite good at actually. I'm surprising myself. I've knocked a few helicopters and things out of the sky with the SRAW now. Pistol wise, I've unlocked the M9 and I've been playing around with that, see if it's any better than the starting pistol, but again I've got everything unlocked for the starting pistol now, I think, so I'm sticking with it. Unless there's a big advantage, I'm going to stick with these. I haven't really looked at gun stats and things, but so far nothing has wowed me enough to make me want to change from these. So that's what you'll see me playing in my videos. You'll see a lot of 3.4 times scopes and you'll see a lot of these guns. So that's it. Thanks for watching.